Alright, so a bit of forewarning here. While I do work on combat in this video, it's not going to be quite as exciting as, I guess, advertised. This is only the result of about an hour of work in GameMaker, so the final product isn't exactly going to be anything very exciting or well polished, or anything that you would see in any game that's been released ever. In future videos, I'll be fine-tuning all of this so that it looks like a combat system that you would actually enjoy playing instead of one that I don't even know. But for now, everything has to start somewhere, and for about an hour of work, I think this came out pretty well. On with the video. Alright, hello all you crazy people out there, my name is Dragonite, and welcome back to making a 3D RPG in GameMaker Studio. It is time to take on combat, and this NPC is going to be the unfortunate test subject of my combat. I have no idea where to start for this. There's characters, and they have stats, and you can equip weapons and stuff to them, and I should probably program this guy, the technology is incredible guy, to when you talk to him, like automatically equip weapon and armor to him, so that I can just talk to the NPC and get started with my testing stuff. But yeah, let me do that real quick. All right, here we are. I have an NPC who can give you false teeth and then have you equip them, as you can see in the upper left on the screen. Now, how am I going to do combat? Firstly, I should probably think of a button for attacking. A is already taken on the controller. B is already taken. Y is for jumping, and X is for switching characters. And let's see, what is L2 is run. Or well, what's it called? L bumper. I always call it L2 for whatever reason. Well, in any case, whatever it's called, that's run. Right bumper is sneak around. I don't know if I'm actually going to keep that because all it does is reduce your movement speed, and I can't imagine anybody doing that, and I don't feel like programming stealth into this game. Left trigger and right trigger aren't used for anything. Those are the attack buttons in Skyrim, which again, I'm kind of more or less pilfering the control scheme from. And those are also, aside from the D-pad, the only buttons that aren't taken already. And I suppose I could go with left bumper and right bumper for attack. Although I'm going to need 3 buttons for attack. There's going to be melee attack, range attack, and nerd attack. I could use the left bumper and right bumper to switch between them and use like the D-pad for attack. What's start and select? Start brings up the menu. Select currently doesn't do anything. Or back. Again, I call it start and select. It's really start and back. I could go with the triggers for. I guess I'll go with the triggers are for switching attack style, and the D-pad is for attack. Alright, let me know if you can think of a better control scheme in the comments of this video. First, I'm going to put my controller down on the floor, and I'm going to close the game. Let's close the game via here. Let's close the game via here, shall we? Quit game. And let's see, I'm going to need a variable called attack style. And this is going to be, these are all settings. Where's the currently chosen character? Where's the currently chosen character? What's that variable called? Graphics. Draw game HUD. Player active character. Alright, so in player under active character, I'm going to have active attack equals, how about attack styles dot melee. And this can go in. I'm going to create another one of these enums for one of these like enum declaration scripts for combat. CC combat. And it's just going to say enum attack styles. And there's going to be melee, range, and nerd. Or int, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, attack styles.melee. I don't think I actually need to declare that script anywhere, to call that script anywhere in order for that to work, but I'm going to do it anyway. In the init script, it's going to be cc combat. They're in alphabetical order because I can't think of any other order to put them in. All right, that's great. Now, I suppose I should name them as well. And for that, I actually would need to call the script somewhere to name them. All right, global var attack style names. All right, there we go. Now, similarly to switching characters, I want where is the code where you change characters? All right, so movement player. When you press X, or should this be when you release X? Press, release, whatever, same thing. When you press X, you're going to cycle through your active characters. And how about, oh, you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to draw on the game HUD the actual, the current attack style. Draw text 32, 192, current attack style. And then this is just going to be, I need a space there. Attack style names of player.attack style. Or should this be anchored to the classes instead of the player? So you could like save, like Chase can have the melee, Fowler can have the range, Joe can have the nerd. Let's do that. Active.attack style instead of player.attack style. And then we can remove, oh, it's active attack. Well, whatever. In any case, I can rename it. Class. And attack style is attack styles.melee. And now, I don't think I want anything else here. I can come back to movement player and switch between the active character dot attack style, right? So if controller dot press, which button should this be? I could have left cycle through the attack styles and right attack. Let's do that. All right, so when you press L, active.attack styles equals plus equals 1, or plus plus, because you can do that in GameMaker now. I'm still not remembering that you can do plus plus in GameMaker. And then if active.attack style, that's not plural, that's just singular, is equal to array length 1D of this, nope, not of that, of attack style names, active.attack style equals 0. Again, you could have this, so you could write this so that it's all in one line, but I'm trying to make my code legible instead of efficient, so I'm not going to be writing that all in one expression. All right, now let's run the game and see if this actually works the way I want it to. Okay, here we are. Current attack style of melee, range, nerd, Chase. I can switch my characters. Fowler. Can switch my character again. And I'm switching through my characters and their attack styles are being saved. That's good. What else did I want to do? I want to get out of here. Quick game. And I just like doing that even though I can just hit the X button on the game window. Now to actually attack, now that I know how I'm going to be attacking, I could say, how about if controller.press R, then attack somehow. This is where all the fun stuff is going to be happening. Well, I guess I'll do this the simple way and pretend the other two attack styles don't exist and say, what is it? World.array object is the object that's under your crosshairs. If world.array object not equal to no one, then world.array object.hp minus equals 1. And for NPCs, I'm going to need to assign, not that, entity NPC. I'm going to need to assign an HP variable to pretty much everything. Selectable, combat stuff, HP equals, how about HP equals 10. And that's going to be inherited by entities, by NPCs, by pretty much everything. And I'll say if world, come on, world.ray object dot HP equals 0 or is less than or equal to 0 with world.ray object instance destroy. And I should make sure that ray object is actually the variable that I'm looking for. So begin step, crosshairs, good, it's ray object. And then you can just go and set it to no one. So that I can't try and access it later on in an instance that doesn't exist. Let's try and run the game. And I'll hit the right trigger over the NPC 10 times and he should disappear. Alright, here we go. I'm walking up to this guy and I'm hitting right trigger 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And he disappears. Perfect. That's a very primitive attacking animation. Now, I feel like you should charge forward a little bit when you attack. So I could say x speed equals, I'm going to copy this movement code. This is where you move. And I'm going to go and have you charge forward a little bit. And it's going to be, you're going to be moving at twice the normal speed. How about, oops, not 2 star, star 2. Star 2, 2 star, 2 star, 2 star, 2 star. And up here where your speed is set to 0, I'm going to implement sliding just a little bit. X speed times 0.5, Y speed times 0.5. And I might increase or decrease that rate that you slow down just a little bit later on. But for now, I'm going to run the game again, and now when I attack, I should charge forward a little bit. Alright, so when I'm moving around now, I slide to a stop. I'm having a little bit of trouble with using my controller here. But I slide to a stop instead of stopping instantly, which is good, I suppose. And now I am moving sideways when I attack. Alright, that's not the direction I really wanted to move in. Alright, why am I moving sideways instead of forwards? I should not be moving sideways. Why is it left stick angle minus 90? That would do it. I'm also going to, in case I want to increase the rate that you like jump forwards when you attack, I'm going to just make a little local variable called r. And var r equals, let's make it 2.5 so you move a little bit faster. And let's run the game again and see if it works the way I actually want it to. Alright, good, I'm moving forward. I'm still being kind of annoyed by that little failure of Fewstrom calling on the side. Right there, the gap in the wall. But never mind, I'll leave that as it is because I can't be bothered to fix it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good, we're just harassing the NPCs today. Quick question. I can't okay, good. I can't charge up the wall. That was a glitch I ran into when this was still a Pokemon game, and I think it was Rock Smash had a similar effect where you would use Rock Smash and you would charge forwards. Except in that case you could kind of glitch up walls if you weren't careful about it. And I'm glad that that isn't the case now because I have no idea how that was happening or how I would have to go about fixing it. All right, let's close the game now and let's see how to fine tune this. Attacking is technically done. You can attack things, but, or rather you can bite things anyway. Should I just use a giant switch tree here? Like, I could just use a giant switch tree here and do switch statements for, oh god, what is it? Case, like this. I could do this. This is valid. I'm not sure if I want to, though. I'll do it for now. I'll reorganize it later because it's probably going to be very long and annoying. Case, attack, dot range, break. I will be getting to all 3 attack styles today. And let's see. Bite whatever's directly in front of you, charge forwards a bit. Throw whatever you're holding. All right. And to throw whatever you're holding, I could say instance create x, y, or projectile offensive var projectile equals that. Projectile.z equals z. And I need to create that instance, that object, whatever. Somewhere in here, stuff that you interact with, I don't need that. Structs, I don't need that open anymore. Projectiles, projectile. A lot of these are relics of when this was a Pokemon game. Vines, seeds, moves. Those aren't used anymore. Projectile dot offensive. Except without a dot in there because that would throw off everything in the code. My controller fell on the floor again. The parent is going to be the regular projectile. And let's see. T++, I don't need that. Well, I do need that, but whatever. Z previous equals Z. I can get rid of these two because they're just going to be inherited from the parent object. All of this, drop projectile default, I think is where everything happens. Movement projectile. I'm going to want to attach an extra script to this. Script on hit equals null. And again, null is basically my script that says don't run any code. It just absorbs whatever arguments you throw at it and returns false. And in movement projectile, if you hit something, it should run that code. Right? Collision actor raycast. This is just a raycast in front of you. This is shorthand for like raycast in the direction that you're moving. Let's see. If you hit something, you're gonna get the hit object, which is again just shorthand for a couple of the venomous collision till functions. And if you hit something, you're going to execute the field effect. Alright, well, field effects are probably going to be leaving this game at some point, so I'm just going to ignore this for now. I misspelled ignore, I don't care. Script, execute, script on hit. Okay. Alright, and this is just wrapped around the instance of hit, if hit is an instance of a selectable object. Because you could also hit the terrain, And the terrain you don't want anything to happen to because the terrain is supposed to be static. Anyway, script execute, script on hit, and okay. I think that's it for there. And I just want to say event inherited for projectile offensive create, and script on hit can be a script that I'm going to create in a minute called projectile damage. All right, I should probably make a another folder in here called combat, and another script called projectile damage. And oh, another thing that I should consider. I need to pass the instance that it hits so that it knows what it hits, and I can say hit.hp minus equals for now 1. Right? Later on that's going to be replaced by a code that will like do damage based on the attack stat of the thrower and the defense stat of the target. But for now, I just need to assign X speed and Y speed to these guys. So I'm just going to copy this again, throw whatever you're holding, and Z speed can be the opposite of gravity. The gravity constant. Okay, I'm going to need to clear the compiler cache before I run this because I've created a script and created an object, but never mind. So let's go and run the game, and I'll see you in 5 years when this compiles. Oh, using uninitialized variable hit. This should be argument 0. Oops, carry on. All right, here we are. Let's see, do I throw a projectile? I need to switch to range. Joe, who cares? And hang on. All right, so when I hit the R button in projectile mode, index out of bounds requests. Okay, that's fun. Draw projectile default, line 0. Oops, did not mean to create a new room. Where was it? Line 0? Color. What was color? This should have been inherited from the regular projectile, shouldn't it have been? Color equals O. There, that's what it should be. This is just an enum value that maps to an array full of color names. It's used for various purposes when I want to be able to change color values through the enum, as opposed to just outright saying color white, color gray, color blue, whatever. It's complicated. I'll explain that another day. Anyway, let's do this properly now, please, without blowing up. All right, here we go. Range attack. And the game has stopped working. I love it when the game has stopped working. I asked it to not blow up, and it just blew up. That's probably the result of an uninitialized variable somewhere. So let's go and run the game in the regular yo-yo runner, as opposed to compiler, and see what the error message says. All right. Deliberately trying to crash my game now, but throw. All right. Caster.object not equal to no one movement projectile. Oh, that's because it doesn't have a caster, does it? The caster is the person that throws the projectile, and the reason that it's being removed from from the game world while the collision, the raycast is happening, is so that you don't accidentally detect yourself as being hit, which would be bad. Um, let's see. I feel like projectile. I feel like this should have been declared in projectile as well. Apparently not. I'm gonna say down here, caster equals no one. And because when you throw the thing, I don't want the projectile to detect yourself as being hit. I want it to detect whatever it lands on. I'm going to say projectile dot caster equals player. And this should also be like this. All right. Now, why is this causing an error? Oh, I need a semicolon there. I knew that. I also need a semicolon here. I don't know why it wasn't giving me an error here, but semicolons. I'm going to run the game in the yo-yo runner again, the yo-yo interpreter, because I'm not 100% convinced that this code is going to work. So let's try this. All right, switch to range, throw, and lifespan. There's a lot of variables here that haven't been declared before setting them. Lifespan should be a lot. This is for particles that projectiles rather that expire, like the comets in the sky. All right. Lifespan equals lifespan. Lifespan equals, let's make this 1,000. All right, let's make that 1,000. Let's go. That's just the number of steps of frames of whatever before the particle expires. So I'll make it 1,000 by default. You know, while the game is running, this is going to crash again because already I see. Oh no, index is a local variable declared up here. All right, continue. All right, wait, don't continue because I see something else. This probably won't crash the game, although I've been kind of bad recently about saying what will and won't crash the game. But I also need Z gravity. Because Z gravity is initially set to 0 in the create event of the projectile, and I want this to behave. That's because like magical effects and stuff, those shouldn't accelerate downwards due to gravity, but physical things like a projectile that you're throwing should. And I need to set Z gravity to a value. And I just lost my train of thought. The projectiles that you throw should have gravity. All right. Now, run the game. Please please behave as I'm gonna stop myself while I'm behind. All right. Attack style, range, throw, and what was that? All right, so that is creating a projectile indeed. That is the default white gray one. And if I get real close to you, close enough to actually hit you, because I forgot that this is gonna spawn at my feet. Is this actually gonna take you out after a certain number of hits? It does not appear so. Alright, firstly, I need to go and add a little bit of height to the Z value, the Z part of the position vector, as it were, plus eye level. Alright, so we're going to be creating particles out of our eyes, because that makes sense. If this works, and if it takes away HP the way that it's supposed to from the NPC, then I'll go and work on making it a little bit offset so that it originates from the character's right hand instead of their eyes. But first things first. All right, attack style range. Great. Particles are originating from our eyes. I'll change that to a model of whatever you're throwing later. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you're not taking damage. Is this because the thing that it's hitting isn't actually the NPC? You should be taking damage. Why are you not taking damage? Alright, whatever. Let's get out of here and try and debug that. The first thing that I'm going to do, because I like projectile damage. The first thing that I like to do while debugging stuff is say show message object get name argument 0.object index. Alright. Alright, what happens now if I just switch to range and throw things at the ground? Nothing happens. Alright. That's an entity NPC. So you should be losing HP. Why are you not losing HP? Right. No, stop doing that. Stop doing that. Oh my god. That is what it's supposed to be. Let's go and close the game. Oh, you know why you're not dying? Because there's no code to actually die in here. Alright. So, where is if world.rayObject.hp is less than or equal to 0? Except I don't want the ray object this time, I just want argument 0. If argument 0.hp is less than or equal to 0, then with this, instance destroy, and just in case, hang on, I'll say if argument 0 equals world.rayObject instance destroy. Alright, there's a syntax error in here somewhere. Oh, derp. Forgot a curly brace. Now, let's try this again. Death should happen. Alright, 1. I don't know if I was close enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the NPC has disappeared. Okay, so range attacks work. Very primitively, but range attacks do indeed work. Obviously, I shouldn't be throwing particle effects at the targets that I want to hit. I should be throwing, for example, the model of the item that I should be throwing the model of the item. I think I'm going to do that on my own time. At least I'm going to model all of the items on my own time anyway. I don't know if I'm going to just attach code to draw them instead of the particle effects to the throw script. Obviously, this needs some work. It doesn't feel throwing so much as like giving a light toss because it moves so slowly. I may or may not tweak the R here on my own time as well, so that whatever you throw actually flies like you're throwing it instead of like you're just giving it a little push with your finger. The next attack is obviously going to be attack styles.magic or case nerd, whatever it was called. And I don't know if I'm going to do this now or in the next video. I've been recording for about an hour. I don't know how much of that is going to be cut out after compile times. I'm not going to have to cut out any technical difficulties in this video, fortunately, but there was a lot of compile time. So yeah, I think I'm going to take on nerd combat in the next video. Do I want to? Could do it now. I don't know how it's going to work. I'm going to have to sit here for a few minutes to think about it. I want this to be an area of effect attack. Alright, I'm going to do this later. I'm going to have to think about how this works. For now, if you want to download this code, hopefully I'll remember to put it as a download in the description of this video, export project. Other than that, I hope you all enjoyed that. My name is Dragonite, and I will see you all later.